So now we're going to do one of the most common kettlebell exercises, and it's called the swing. We're going to start off with a two-hand swing. I'll show you a one-hand version as well as an alternating swing. So the key thing with the kettlebells and swings is it's about generating power through the hips. A lot of people think it's about doing a shoulder exercise. It has almost nothing to do with shoulders. It's all to do with how well you can generate force through the ground by extending the hips. So usually we start with a little kettlebell, the kettlebell just a bit in front of you. Now I'm going to show you how I sequence the swing for clients and what we do to help teach people the first step. So feet about hip to shoulder width apart, slight little bend in the knees, and you're going to hinge forward, keeping the back straight. Now, straight doesn't mean vertical, straight means good posture, and I'm just hinging at the hips. From here, I'm going to reach out and grab the kettlebell. So notice I'm not rounded like that. I'm out here, core nice and solid. Now, in this position, if I pick up the kettlebell, it's going to actually swing in a little bit. So just that little motion on its own shows us what we want to do with the kettlebell. When it swings in, as soon as my forearms hit my inner thigh, I'm going to stand up forcefully, push my heels into the ground, tighten up the glutes, keep my core solid. So I basically stand up. A lot of people think it's a throw the hips forward. What we want to do is think of taking our head towards the ceiling. So from here, swing, stand. Now if I do that well, the kettlebell is going to swing out in front of me because I've created momentum through the hips. So it'll look like this. Swing. And you can stop it back here again and rest for a second, or you can go repeatedly. Now if you notice, I wasn't leaning back, and I also wasn't squatting or bending at the knees. I had a slight bend in the knees, and I kept that pretty stable the whole way. So this is hamstrings, glutes. Low back is stabilizing, but it shouldn't be taking the pressure. If you have pain in your low back, it's often a sign that you're swinging like this. I'm not going to demonstrate that because it would hurt. So rounded back, anytime you feel it through here, like a pain, that's a sign that you're doing it incorrectly. If these muscles are working to stabilize and they're getting a bit fatigued like they normally would, that's fine. So watch again from the knees and you'll see that position. Slight bend in the knees, a really good drive through the heels. We're not trying to lift it up like this. It's drive. Now, just bringing it up to here would be considered what we call the traditional swing or the Russian kettlebell swing. The American or CrossFit swing goes overhead, so it would look more like this. Straight up overhead. Not a right or wrong way to do it that way. Again, you'll see more CrossFit style goes up overhead. Traditional Russian just comes out in front. Regardless of which way you go, it's the hip drive that's the most important thing.